Today brings us another couple of Space Marine datasheet leaks. This time we're talking about the souped up weapon of the Repulsor Executioner and a bit of a weird change to Reaver war gear. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy focused 40k channel, where we've been covering the Space Marine leaks, news and rumours as they've been coming out. Again, these are datasheets that have been found in new packages for repackaged miniatures for 9th edition. They give us the stat line for the units, but pretty much nothing else, no other special rules or anything, but it can be quite useful for seeing the new profile of certain guns. In this video we're going to take a quick look at the one for the Repulsor Executioner and the Primaris Reapers, two units that we haven't seen so far. So first up, with the Repulsor Executioner, the biggest change comes to its main gun. Both the Heavy Laser Destroyer and Macroplasma Incinerator both appear to have been considerably buffed compared with their previous profile. In the old codex, the Heavy Laser Destroyer was strength 10 and its damage output was d6, but a minimum of 3. Now it's been amped up a little bit, its strength has jumped from 10 to 12, which will only matter in some niche cases when it's firing at toughness 6 units or if it's firing at things like fortifications. But the bigger buff comes to its damage characteristic, where it's now d3 plus 3. When you work out the numbers, its average damage output was 4 for each shot that it got through in the old profile, and now it's average damage 5. After hit rolls and wound rolls and everything, now if you fire at a toughness 7 or 8 vehicle, you'll get around about 9 wounds on the thing on average, compared with 7 as you would before. So a small buff there compared with previously, although it will only help you out at all if you're firing against heavily armoured targets. Perhaps even more interestingly is the Macroplasma Incinerator, which now appears to have its base profile at strength 8, AP-4 and flat damage 2. With every other plasma weapon that we've seen the non-overcharged profile in the main characteristic on the unit, and I honestly think that this is the non-overcharged profile of the new Macroplasma Incinerator. That means that if you were to be brave and overcharge this thing, it'd be a mighty strength 9, AP-4 and damage 3. It's just going to melt through pretty much everything, particularly being more potent against tanks. Even if you choose not to overcharge, then to be honest its profile is already very good. That strength 8, AP-4 and damage 2 is going to be absolutely perfect for killing 2 wound Space Marines, which I suspect that we'll be seeing quite a lot more of after the Codex, now that things like Tactical Marines and Devastators are going to 2 wounds. This thing now looks incredibly dangerous, and is pretty much going to be a reliable anti-everything, but I would bear in mind that now the Repulsor Executioner is definitely not a core unit, you're not going to be able to buff it with a reroll aura from a captain. If you do want to overcharge to get the very scary strength 9 damage 3 profile, you are going to start taking wounds on your own tank as well, unless there are any tricks or shenanigans within Codex Space Marines that might be able to allow you to get a reroll 1 to hit with that Macroplasma. If they still cost about the same, then honestly I think that the Macroplasma Incinerator might be looking a bit more of the way to go. I suspect that having the flexibility to deal with elite infantry lists could be really useful. A few of the profiles of its secondary weapons have also been tweaked, as we've already seen previously. It gives us further confirmation that heavy stubbers are going to 4 shots now. It means that the twin Icarus Iron Hail ones are going to 8 shots, though interestingly enough the twin ones have a 36-inch range, whereas the standard Iron Hail heavy stubber is only going to be 24-inch range now, so it is a bit of a trade-off. Again, as before, the Icarus rocket pod is now going to 24 inches, D3 shots and flat damage 2, so a minor tweak there. Overall, it does look like the tank has got a bit stronger on its base profile, but I'm honestly not sure whether that's going to account for the fact that it's not going to be able to get carried to aura rerolls anymore. Your standard rerolls to hit and wound with chapter masters, captains and lieutenants might well have been better to have, compared with slightly souped up main guns. The other datasheet that's been revealed recently are the Primaris Reapers, and to be honest it's a bit of a disappointing datasheet. I was kind of hoping that their close combat weapons might gain a little bit of AP or something like that, but instead it seems to be on this datasheet that they've actually amped up the AP on their pistols. Otherwise it looks like their datasheet is entirely unchanged from previously, though we don't know if anything has changed with their points cost or any of their special rules yet. The heavy bolt pistol change is a little bit perplexing to be honest. On this profile it's 12-inch range, strength 4, AP-2 and damage 1, which is weird because it puts it at odds with the heavy bolt pistols on the Blade Guard veterans and the other Indomitus units. The buff that they got going into 9th edition was that they gained 18-inch range rather than 12. I'd honestly be really quite surprised if they made 2 different versions of heavy bolt pistols, though I wouldn't necessarily put it past them. It might be that this datasheet is either the value that they are going to go to in the new codex, or it could be an error or early draft. I guess we'll find out in the near future. To be honest, I am just a little bit disappointed with their combat weapon options. I feel that these guys are really going to lose out both to Assault Intercessors and to Incursors now. Both of these guys appear to be getting extra AP on their weapons, and of course the Assault Intercessors will now be able to take power weapons such as Thunderhammers or Power Fists. It really means they're pretty much still only useful against light infantry in melee, and are only an incidental threat aside from that. If you wanted Primaris Marines to deal with more general threats, then the Assault Intercessors seem to be the way to go. And if you wanted some forward-pushing stealthy Space Marines with combat gear, I think I'd personally go for the Incursors. I feel that starting on the board in Scout-style deployment is just a lot more useful than being able to deep strike. At the moment, it just really isn't looking all that good for Reivers having a decent place in the Space Marine army in 9th. I guess we'll wait to see if they can do anything with their grenades or with their Terror Troops rule to make them a bit more relevant. So let me know what you think of the changes down in the comments. I'll certainly be covering any more news and rumours around the Space Marine release as it comes out, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. And if you have been enjoying the channel's videos, I'd just like to mention that I have a Patreon page, which you can find down in the video description. All of the videos do take quite a lot of time to make, so if you are enjoying regularly, then any support is massively appreciated. Channel patrons get a fair few extra bonuses, such as being able to see videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and also automatic entry into the channel's regular prize draw. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd like to help support the channel, then the link is down in the video description below. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.